Hey all, Tony here from BarlowRoots. Thanks for watching this video. It's been a while since we've done a little garden tour, so I thought I'd take you around a little bit today, show you what's growing. Things are really taking off. Sometimes it seems like you wait, stuff isn't happening, and then all of a sudden it just goes crazy, and that's kind of where we're at now. So let me start off in Ingrid's flower bed, which is looking really good. So last fall we had a wedding here, and they put a pumpkin here, and then it sat and rotted over the winter, and now we have this, and Ingrid won't let me cut it out. So there it is, a giant pumpkin. My theory is, even if it's a viable plant, if it's not where it's supposed to be, it's a weed. She disagrees. So I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about what these flowers are. I'm gonna call these cosmos. I could actually be right. Here's the bane of our existence these days. Oh man, these things are everywhere. This is what we do, flick them, flick them. No, we actually we put them in soapy water usually, and that helps one by one. There's a helpful guy. Bumblebee there, eating off the herbs. So this bed here is a mixture of herbs and flowers. We had a pretty significant rain and windstorm last night, so some of the stuff got knocked over. There's all of our dill over there. A lot of that got knocked over. Some of this is drying now, and we should have enough cucumbers to start pickling sometime soon here. So down the row, you can see a whole bunch more flowers, and we've got some sunflowers there on the very end. More dill, more herbs. Here's this borage, which is a edible flower, and the flower actually tastes like cucumbers. Kind of sweet. It's nice. So there's some cool flowers down there I'll take you to in a minute. This bed was kind of our first starting bed here. We did some carrots, turnips, radishes. We still have some turnips left over. I think those will probably go to the pigs soon. This is a huge bed of carrots here that we're gonna let go for a couple more weeks, I think. They're looking still pretty small. Great green growth on them, so hopefully they're making some carrots under the ground. Here's some beets that we have under a weed cloth. So we'll be picking those soon too, I think. Onion bed has been, we're not exactly sure. Our onion bed struggled just a little bit, and we're not sure why. We'll have a lot of onions, but some of them seem to be dying back a little bit early. So we're gonna do some investigating on that. Always something to try to figure out. There's the sunflowers. A couple of those got knocked over yesterday. These were those cool flowers I wanted to show you. I don't know what those are either, but they're pretty. The flowers are kind of her deal, so I apologize. I'll have to get her out here to do a video on some of that. There's our first sunflower coming. Our new raised beds are looking really good over here. We just planted in this bed. We bought a different kind of lettuce called Salanova, and the seeds are pretty expensive, so we only bought 25 just to sample it and try it out. So we're doing that there. We did have spinach here, which bolted pretty fast in the summer heat. It's usually an early or late. And then this lettuce here obviously has bolted, but we got some good cuttings off that. Here's some of our bush cucumbers here. And let's see if I can find one. We got some little cucumbers going down there. I don't know if you can see those. Lots and lots of flowers. So if we might have a ton of cucumbers if all those happen. Got some yummy basil here. A few little pepper plants come in. We picked our first kohlrabi yesterday and ate that. Have you guys ever had kohlrabi? What a crazy thing. Looks like a little alien plant. Tastes kind of like, it's got kind of the texture of an apple, but it's sweet. Tastes a little bit like a radish. Just a tiny bit like a radish, but we really enjoyed it. I think we'll plant a few more of those next year. We've got, I think, some cabbages, some heads forming on cabbages here. Some Brussels sprouts. That looks like a pretty nice looking cabbage there. A little broccoli happening there. So we'll have to see how much of that we're able to sell. If we have enough to sell, or some things in our garden, of course, we just grow for ourselves as well. And broccoli is a big one. We love to freeze broccoli because it tastes awesome in the winter, to have that frozen broccoli, and it freezes really good. This is our favorite leafy green to saute and cook. It's called Swiss Chard, and it's absolutely beautiful as well. So you can do this a number of ways, but we simply just like it in olive oil and garlic and onions sauteed up. We've got a ton of kale. Kale is a great confidence crop. If you're new to gardening, grow some kale. You'll learn to love it. We've learned to love it here. So this is chamomile. Do you guys know about chamomile? So you dry the flowers. I just love the smell of it. It makes a good tea. The kids have been loving this. We've had a ton of blueberries, and so we've just been picking them as we go. And those are amazing. Kids are lucky they get any. They're lucky I share any with them. So here's the rest of this bed has a bunch of just different random herbs in it. And here's the rest of our beds. If you've been watching the progression, you can see how much growth we've had. So we've got tomatoes here on the far, let's see if my hand is in the right place, over here. These are green beans. We've actually had those covered for most of the summer. We had those covered. We've just recently uncovered them. The Japanese beetles go nuts on them, so we left them covered, and they've grown nice and tall. They're bush green bean. We'll be picking those here over the next few weeks. We've already got baby green beans there. Another bed of tomatoes here, and this bed of tomatoes is determinate tomatoes, so we'll be picking those probably in the next couple of weeks. It seems like things are just a little bit behind. I just picked our first cherry tomato and ate it over in our cherry tomato bed. I'll show you where we've got some ripening there, and I think that seems a little late. Again, we're fairly new to some of this, so record keeping isn't real solid. Peas have made a little bit of a comeback. We were frustrated. Our peas looked like they were just going to be garbage, but we've got a fair amount of peas, and I think we'll have enough. These are shelling peas, and so those are another one where we're selfish, and we basically keep most of those for ourselves, but we shell those peas and freeze them. And again, peas are another one that they take a lot of work. I mean, you got to open every shell, so it just takes some time, but it's good work for the kids, and they freeze awesome. Another nice row of tomatoes here. These are growing really well. These are one of our heirloom beds here. That one on the far end is an heirloom bed as well. So those will be nice big tomatoes. We've got having awesome luck with our summer squash. Look at these guys here. These guys are almost growing too big now. We're trying to sell them as we go. So if you like summer squash and zucchini, come and buy, because we've got a lot of it right now. It's a good time to buy it. And that's summer squash you can freeze too, or zucchini, and shred it and freeze it and make it into zucchini bread during the there's a bee in this cucumber bread during the winter. See him working in there. So this is another bed of cucumbers climbing our little trellis here, and then the rest of this bed is dried beans, and so those will just go and grow, and they will actually we'll probably let most of them dry on the vine. A few tomatoes starting to show up here, and these we're just getting started here. So we've got a lot of flowers still left to go on the tomatoes, and hopefully we have a really good tomato year. And then this bed we still have covered. This is all of our, what we would call brassicas. So this would be broccoli, Brussels sprouts. There might be some cabbage in there, I'm not sure. We had a heck of a time getting this bed started, but I think it's been going really good. We leave it covered because if you've ever gardened, we've got these white moths that are just nasty for all that stuff, and they will just chew the leaves really bad. And so we leave that covered. We'll leave that covered as long as we can. I haven't peeked under there in quite a while. Another stop at the blueberry bush here. Here's our lettuce bed. So this lettuce bed here is obviously past due. We just cropped out the first lettuce bed that we started with this year, and that went to the chickens. They love it. We'll crop this one out soon, and then this bed will become some sort of fall crop around the first week of August. Maybe a big bed of carrots, or maybe some carrots and beets, something like that. And we'll get those going, and we'll try to push those as far as we can, even into and after the first frost with some of those root vegetables. Ingrid just planted, I don't know how much, but I think most of the rest of this bed here in lettuce. And so that'll be our next succession of lettuce that'll be growing. We'll be picking off of this bed at the front for the next few weeks here. And that should give us a good supply of lettuce. And then here's all our peppers in the next bed over. And those got a little slow start too, but they're coming on now. We've got a lot of pepper flowers. August should be a really good month for peppers. I already see some that I could pick in there. And here's our cherry tomatoes. So I just picked our first one. This one's getting close too. These are called a sun gold cherry tomato, and they are so sweet and so good. And they're usually one of the earliest cherry tomatoes that you get. So I just ate the first one. It was amazing. I FaceTimed the family so they could witness the first tomato being eaten. So yeah, so that's about all we have. Things are growing well. I'm really pleased with how the irrigation setup is working. We've been getting periodic rains. We've had to water a little bit here and there, but we've been getting enough rain so that things have been going good. Cherry season's done. Our few apples that we have are growing nicely. This little spot over here, we've got experimental planted in tires. Seems to be working. I don't know. So this is tomatillos. We'll hopefully have some tomatillos. These are different fall squash, fall winter squash, and maybe some melons too. This is our bug trap here. And those do a pretty good job of trapping those Japanese beetles. This bag's only maybe a day or two old, and it's already almost full. So, all right, you guys, that's an update from the Homestead Garden. If you're watching this on our BarlowRoots Market channel, stop on out. We've got a ton of stuff right now that's really fresh and really delicious. It just blows my mind every time how different food is straight from the garden than anything you can buy at the store. And we're working on a new system where we're picking stuff literally moments before people arrive to pick it up, so they get the ultimate freshness. And our goal is to get you stuff even before we've refrigerated it. I mean, that's so you have it just basically straight from the garden, and having some good success with that. So yeah, so if you're again, feel free to stop on out to BarlowRoots Market, pick up any of this produce. Message us, comment if you have questions about stuff. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for checking out this update from the garden, and we will see you on the next video.